FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and it's time for another Triple Lutz Report. This is episode 419, amazingly enough. Anyway, it was my 60th birthday this weekend. I was fortunate enough to be able to be with all 3 of my children, along with my present son-in-law and my future son-in-law. My daughter just got engaged. It's amazing how fast 6 years goes. I started doing this full time it was June 7th, 2011. And here we are. It's now July 24th. Spent an incredible weekend. I was also with my oldest, dearest friend, Jeff. We've known each other since we were in first grade and been like besties for over 50 years. It's just amazing how time flies. Luckily, I feel really good. We went out to Cape Cod. My kids rented a house, nice house. They paid for everything, which if I wasn't sitting down, I probably would have passed out. This was a total first, but it was just a wonderful experience. The weather was great. The only negative, and there's always a negative at the beach, there's all these bugs, these flies, mosquitoes, these sand flies that just bite you and drive you nuts. And bugs have always been attracted to me for some reason. Bugs and sociopaths. Go figure. So now I am in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, for those of you who don't know any better. I'm going to be attending the Sprott Resource Conference. It starts tomorrow, July 25th. I can hardly wait. I mean, it's just really going to be a wonderful experience. A lot of companies who are sponsors, guys like Keith Neumeyer from First Mining Finance, First Majestic, etc. We've got a lot of companies that we know, a lot of people that we know. Been going to this thing now. I think this is my second, third year, but I go to all these conferences, a lot of them. Andy Schechtman from Miles Franklin is going to be here. A lot of people going to be here. And, it's just a really exciting conference. If you ever have the chance to go, I highly, highly recommend it. I mean, I just have enjoyed it immensely. Whether you're buying, investing in mining stocks or not, it doesn't matter. It's just a place to go. Vancouver, right now in Florida, it's 90 degrees and 95% humidity. Here, it's 70 degrees and like 50% humidity. It's just a beautiful city if you've ever made it. I'll be sitting down with Mickey Fulp as well, the mercenary geologist. All of these people will be here, and we're just going to have a great time. The food, they have one of the few places where you actually can get decent Chinese food. I mean, hey, there's not many places in the world where you get decent Chinese food. You know what I mean? It's just a great place. I recommend it for a vacation, for anything that you want to do a getaway. It's just the best weather, the nicest people that you're ever going to meet. They're Canadian. They have not been trained to be nasty. They've been trained just to be nice. And really, you can't ask for any more than that. Nice people. They actually obey the traffic laws, which is very disconcerting to this New Yorker transplanted to Florida, where nobody pays attention to any traffic laws except the ones that you have to, because you'll probably die if you don't. It's really funny, but you have to in New York and Florida. I mean, you just have to assume that everybody is out to kill you. In Canada, everybody's out to help you. And when you're a cynical New Yorker, then you really are a little suspicious at first, but then you realize that they're just Canadians. Know what I mean? So, hey, our crazed mayor there, Comrade deBlasio, he's so concerned about the homeless. He's so concerned about the poor. And the subways have been breaking down because of deferred maintenance, because government runs them. I mean, they're calling this the summer from hell. So he is going to make the grand gesture of riding the subway just to show that he's one of you, one of us. And what do? The cops go down there first and they roust all the homeless people from 2 stations ahead of his 4-stop press event. This is according to the New York Post, as he rode from his Park Slope gym to his new re-election headquarters. Now, look, if you New Yorkers re-elect this schmuck, you deserve whatever you get. He is the worst. I mean, look, hiring is always difficult, but hiring is really the major key to success in any endeavor. You have to make the right hire. And clearly, New York needs to go hire somebody else. So if you're looking to hire somebody, though, I highly recommend ZipRecruiter.com. If you're hiring, do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Because I sure didn't. It's really difficult to find the right people for any job, whether you're looking for president, for mayor, for governor. The difference is when you're hiring somebody off the street, there's no election that takes place to get them into your office. You have to pick them out. And that is the hardest thing. I found in my business, the hardest thing that I ever did was hiring people, because it was really difficult to get the right people. And this is why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. And over 80% of the jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. Now, look, like when the job market's tight, which it's tightening up now, it's really hard to find those qualified people. You don't have to juggle emails or calls to your office. You simply screen, you rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. I mean, if you want to find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results, then what I suggest you do is go over to ZipRecruiter.com right now. For all of you out there in the FSN community, you can post jobs for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Lutz. ZipRecruiter.com/LUTZ, and you go over there, ZipRecruiter.com/Lutz. You post your job, and hey, watch the qualified candidates just pour in. It is amazing. So speaking of qualified candidates and unqualified candidates, I always give Andy Cuomo a big ride. I ride him pretty mercilessly. He is the governor of New York State. He's a total socialist, progressivist, collectivist, but I will give him some credit. He has really paid attention to infrastructure. Trains, not so much, but that's really not his job. Got a new Tappan Zee Bridge opening up. Now, his predecessors were just unable to figure out how to get this bridge done. Same with Pataki, Spitzer, Patterson. Nobody could get this thing done, and this bridge was ready to collapse. I used to take it all the time from Westchester County to Rockland County in New York, and it had gaping holes in it. I mean, routinely there'd be an emergency. They'd have to shut down a couple lanes and do some emergency welding. This is because it was built in the 1950s. During the Korean War, there was just not enough high-quality steel available, and they said, look, we're building this thing. It's going to be good for 50 years. It was carrying like 5 times more cars than it was designed. So now, Cuomo, he got into office. He said, all right, if we don't do something shortly, this bridge is going to collapse. So we must go and come up with a replacement. And he did it. And it's a single deck stayed suspension cable bridge. They're building it. It's taken them like 4.5 years to do, which is pretty fast in New York. He cut through all the red tape, everything else. It always helps environmentally, is if you're replacing a bridge, then you don't have to do really huge environmental reviews, but the bridge is getting built. There's another bridge that was ready to fall down, the Kosciuszko Bridge. And that bridge, again, has been replaced. I mean, these bridges, they cost like $2 million to build when they're new. Now they cost $200 million. That gives you an idea of the inflation, the corruption, the union feather bedding, and corruption that takes place to build any of these things. The fact that it can be done at all and in relatively quick time is pretty amazing. You've also got the Port Authority of New York built a new Goethals Bridge that goes between New Jersey and Staten Island. They're talking about building yet another new bridge to replace the Outer Bridge crossing. All these bridges are like totally obsolete. They're 2 lanes in each direction. They're narrow lanes. They were when like cars were like the size of horse buggies, the width. But point is, this infrastructure rebuild is taking place all over the Northeast. More so, I mean, in Florida, it's happening really all over the country. It's kind of underreported, I believe, but it is a major, major thing taking place. So in Florida, every major highway in the state right now is under construction in one place or another, which isn't all that unusual in Florida. But you've got, everybody bitching about infrastructure. I think it's just a way to try to scam people out of more money. I think we're spending plenty of money on infrastructure. Whether we're getting our money's worth or not is another story. Hey, so Trump got a new director of communications, this guy Scaramucci, and Scaramucci is great. I mean, it's like watching Trump's mini-me, Anthony Scaramucci. I think I met him someplace many years ago. Can't remember where. So what Trump is doing is he's purging out members of the GOP, the elite, the establishment from his administration, putting in his people. And, you would watch Sean Spicer take on the press, and he was just so over his head. He was in over his head. He was just nice guy, but pretty useless. And Reince Priebus, again, is another guy who's in over his head, not doing a great job. To be the president's chief of staff, you have to be a ball buster. You've got to control access to your guy, and you've got to be ruthless and always having your eye on the ball. You've got to pay attention to what the end goal is. These guys, the leaks and everything else is just awful. But Scaramucci is the right guy. Hopefully, he is going to bring on a team of people who will no longer be out to deliberately undermine the president. I mean, you never know what Trump is going to say. Look, I believe that Twitter, his Twitter feed, is really the death knell for the mainstream legacy, or as Cheryl Atkinson put it, the post mainstream media. And the sooner it's gone, the better. I mean, these guys, the Russia probe is just such a bunch of crap. You could see when Paul Ryan is sticking up for Robert Mueller, what they're trying to pull. Trump will win this. They're not getting rid of him. It's really that simple. You hate him, you love him, I don't care. I don't think he can do much to really save the country, but hey, if he can, then let's do it. And there's a rumor in the Post today that Trump may be considering replacing Sessions with Giuliani. Good move. He should have made Giuliani his man before this. I didn't, Beauregard, Sessions, man of integrity, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear about it. Evidently, he's still in with the boys, with the club. And otherwise, why else would he recuse himself, paving the way for this BS special prosecutor? They've got to get rid of Mueller. They got to shut the thing down. It's ridiculous. But, you tell a lie enough, and pretty soon people start to believe it. Russia, Russia, Russia. I mean, I just don't believe the Russians were cultivating Trump 20 years ago by buying apartments from him, setting him up to be president of the United States. I happen to agree with him that they wanted Hillary, given their druthers, although they probably prefer that the U.S. just break up, which is a very real possibility. So here's a funny one. This is like the funniest thing ever. What's in a name? In the case of one Oregon man, a lot. He's a 22-year-old named Felony Hudson, and he's accused of felony kidnapping, felony eluding, felony possession of a stolen vehicle, and a few misdemeanors. But why would you bother? If the guy's named Felony, don't bother with the misdemeanors. This is like Catch-22, and the guy's name was Major, Major, Major. Why don't I just call him Felony, Felony, Felony? So officers had received a report of a woman being assaulted inside a moving vehicle, according to Vancouver Police Department spokesperson. And they had a chase that spanned several cities. And, it's good when people live up to their names. If his name was Benedict Arnold, I would want him to be living up to Benedict Arnold as well. The only thing wrong with Felony is that he spells the name wrong. He spells it Fellony instead of Felony. But if I were him, I would go to court. I'd get my name changed, take out the L, Felony F, or Felonious, like at Felonious Monk, Felonious F Felony. I think that would be great. So anyways, This is a mess. I don't know if you've been watching the dollar or not, but I'm in Canada, and the last time I was in Canada, everything was on sale. The damn dollar, the Looney was 73 cents US. And now the thing has gone up 10% in the past 2 weeks. Like, what is going on here? And this is alarming because of those other anomalies that we mentioned. The premium on numismatic coins evaporating, premium on junk silver evaporating, platinum staying under gold for all these months, platinum and palladium approaching parity. There was a bunch of factors. The premium numismatic gold coins evaporating. I think I said that already. All these things. So yeah, I feel like ripped off here. It's almost 80 cents, the Canadian dollar here, up nearly 10% in 10 days. So something's going on with the dollar. Bitcoin popped up again. It's at 27.40. Ethereum 225.38, Litecoin 47.45 rather, and a bunch of other crap. Ripple. Man, if I want Ripple, I'll go to the liquor store. I don't think I'm going to the bank. That's at 19.22 cents. Monero, as in Money Arrow, $44. So just get ready for this stuff. There's a great interview with a lady who is a member of the so-called plunge protection team. Really good article, podcast about it. And she said that central banks are scared to death of cryptocurrencies because they're losing their monopoly. So they're going to look to preempt the whole private currency. Will they be successful? Here's the thing. Like Bitcoin, how do you use Bitcoin as a currency when you have no idea from day to day if it's going up 10% or down 30%? Too much instability. Plus, the blockchain with Bitcoin is very inefficient, very slow. Problems all over. I just want you to keep that in mind. Anyways, that is it for today. I will be reporting from Vancouver regularly over the next 4 days. Been another Triple Lutz report. This is Kerry Lutz signing off.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.